Okay, good morning, everyone. You're listening to That's What They Said on WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana, and you're also watching live here on YouTube. It is 6 a.m., Tuesday, August 25th. Let's do some quick traffic and weather before we get right into the show. So currently right now at the Track Evanso Studios, it is a nice, cool 55 degrees. Feels great. Today we're seeing highs of 79 degrees, lows of 64, mostly sunny and clear weather for the nighttime. Moving forward into the rest of the week, Wednesday, highs of 81 degrees, lows of 63, humid with a thunderstorm, and partly cloudy and humid weather throughout the rest of the night. Thursday, highs of 79 degrees, lows of 61, humid with a possible shower and clear skies. Taking a look at traffic in the northwest region, traffic is looking pretty good. 65 going north and south is looking good. 80 going east and west is looking good. 90 going east and west is looking good. We do have, let's see here. We may have a little bit of hold up on 90 going east and west just due to some getting towards that area, some stoplights that are out, but that is expected due to the recent storms that we've had. But Chicago Skyway is looking pretty good. Bishop Ford and Ryan are all coming along great. So that's all for your traffic and weather. So let's get right into the show.
Good morning, everybody. It is your host, Michelle Quinn, and as you've already heard, it is Adriana Alvarez, our fabulous producer, and back with me, because she liked it so much, is my friend Stacy.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
I was hoping for the hi. That still gives me great pleasure. So, before we launch into, the show, we usually take a minute to hear about what, young people do on their weekends, because, those of us who don't have lives anymore. So how was your weekend, Adriana?
My weekend was, it was pretty fun. It was one of those I can go out without having to do homework. So I started school yesterday.
Yeah,
and
how'd
with
that go?
starting school, I started teaching too. So I started teaching my class.
So what was that like? Tell us about it.
It was interesting. So love all of my students because eventually they are gonna know, oh, she works here. But I love all of my students. They're actually pretty good kids.
What are you teaching?
I am teaching fundamentals of speech, so just a freshman speech class that is required for every single student, regardless of your major. You have to take a speech class. You have to do the 3 core speeches. You can't get out of it. So I have 2 classes, so in total I have 50 kids. Will I know all of their names? I hope so.
All right.
I hope so. I have...
Is it 50 kids in one class?
50.
Or is that spread out
I got
across
2.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 2 classes back to back, so that I'm very happy. They're back to back in the same room.
Excellent.
But we did simple syllabus week stuff. But I fear I became one of the teachers where I'm like, "Good morning, class. We're gonna try that again, okay? Good morning. If I gotta be up here earlier than all y'all, I will be a ray of sunshine, and we'll make it work." But At first, they're dead silent, and I know that's only going to last for the first week or 2, because then they're going to come in talking, and I'm like, yes, please.
Right.
Please don't make this awkward and just sit here in silence and stare at each other. But it was good. They ended up talking and all that. We did an icebreaker, and they really
Please tell us Please tell us something about yourself.
We did one. It was called speed dating. That we had our instructors, our professors had told us about. And basically what it is that you get into a smaller circle, and then you get into a bigger circle, and then you ask a question, and then they just move around each question until you get to the very end. They really liked that one. But when I asked them what is the best movie, TV show of all time, I've noticed that this is something that a lot of different instructors, and just throughout, it doesn't matter if it's freshmen or if it's later, older students, they don't watch TV and they don't watch movies. They watch YouTube. And I was like, okay. And they're like, because I have to be called something. So I was like, you guys can call me by my first name, or if you want to call me by my last, I don't care. I am considered Miss Alvarez. And I was like, okay, I feel very formal.
Yeah.
I feel very formal. But they're like, Miss Alvarez, well, what's your favorite movie? And I'm like, oh, It's a Wonderful Life, the black and white version. And they didn't know what that was.
Oh, listen to that.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, they're like, what is that? I'm like, next question.
Yeah.
But they're all good kids. I like all of them.
I was going to say, I promise you that gets worse as
Yeah.
you get older.
Well, so one of the icebreaker questions I was going to do is just like, all right, we're Ross and Rachel on a break. And I feel they're not going to know what that means.
They may not.
Probably not.
I'm gonna be
They may not.
Okay. And then
Honestly, I'm a little shocked. You know Friends.
I know if I watched this was like a few years ago. I was like, I want to watch all of them. So I watched Full House, Friends, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Gilmore Girls,
The modern classics.
the modern classics. I did not go as far as to watch all of I Love Lucy.
Okay.
So, but we were watching just kind of all of those. So when they didn't know, I was like, that might be a long shot, but I'm like, It's a Wonderful Life has been put into so many different TV shows and movies, just the concept of it. I'm
Right.
like, guys, should I have just been like, oh yeah, you know that one Family Guy episode?
Right.
Should I have just been like that and you would have got it? But overall, they're great. And I don't have, like, there's no kind of, like, issues, but, you know, it's first day.
Right.
But they
How exciting
seem-
that you get to be the face of their first day.
I know.
of their first year.
I was so scared. I was just like, what if I, like, have somebody that's, like, older than me in the class and they're just like, look at this kid.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. And just throughout the next 16 weeks, I am in charge of their grades.
Yeah, so how tough are you going to be?
I honestly did tell them, I was like, look, don't be jerks. We can all be great. And I did tell them, I was like, when it comes to, like, the grading system, I'm like, I know everybody's like, yes, C's get degrees and I can stay in this area. I'm like, but everybody can get an A. You all can do it. It's even though people are like, I'm terrified of public speaking, you guys, it's okay. You can do it.
Right.
The problem with aiming to do the bare minimum is that something is going to happen that's going to make you do worse than that, and then you're cooked.
Yeah, you're
that's
you're
a-
done for.
Yeah, not a great philosophy.
But overall, it's a great experience. And then from there, I have my other classes, and I have my bag full of books that I have to read. And I'm like, okay,
Graduate school.
yeah. So I'm just like, okay, we're not going out this weekend. But yeah, overall, great.
So as long
Nothing
as
too
you made
exciting.
the weekend count. So
Yes, weekend was made. I was able to go see some friends and kind of see everybody before we all go back into school mode, and the awkward schedules of, okay, yes, your weekend's free, but I only have Thursday free.
Right.
So
That sounds like us when we get together anymore. Hey, so we got this weekend? Nah, I got this. Or
Right, I was
know.
going to say that never goes away.
yeah, we haven't. We didn't get together all summer, the gang.
No, we didn't even. Usually we do birthdays.
I know. And we
Yeah.
haven't even, we've got, I guess that's going to be a big.
We've got some schedule coordination to do.
We got some stuff. So, there was just something else I was going to ask. Yeah, my weekend wasn't, I got my brakes done.
there you go. That's important.
So yeah, my front brakes, and now they're and the mechanic is aware of this. So we got it done, and I was all excited. Everything's great. And then my brake light and VSA light comes back on. I'm like, what's this? Why is this back on? So I'm thinking, okay, there's a short or whatever. Oh no, I had a cylinder out.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah. So I go back and they fix it yesterday, and they were flushing the brakes and topping the stuff off. Well, my brakes are still real squishy. And they told me they're like, look, drive it around, or, drive it for a couple days, see if it, it may just need to get warm and, tighten back up. But no, it's a little weird. So I'm probably, after I get out of here, I'm going to be like, I gotta go. You guys gotta. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna need some sort of special flushing it out again. Or I didn't even know you had to do that when you switch out brakes with the. I was gonna say,
I'd
key.
say don't look at me for any type of
don't
car.
look at me.
So
I just drive them.
Yeah. So yeah, driving around with when your brakes are and they're squishier than they were before. I'm like, that's weird.
Right. Usually the adjustment with that is that you touch it and then it's
Right. It's like, nah! But yeah, no, I've been pressing it down harder than even before. So
Yikes.
a little nerve wracking, but it'll be fine. I haven't died yet.
Well, that's
So
You've got that going for you.
yeah, much to the dismay of many, I'm sure. So, anyway, so we are now, is this week 2 or week 3 into, the storm that ate Northwest Indiana?
It's 2 weeks today.
Okay. Yeah, that is right. About 2 weeks today. More people getting...
And today's the 25th, which I believe was NIPSCO's deadline for a lot of the Portage, the Gary, the Munster.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, we heard this morning that our fearless leader, Jed, has gotten his power back.
Woo.
So I'm sure that, hopefully maybe he slept some more because, finally having power and air conditioning, although it's beautiful out, so you don't necessarily need it.
I will say for August, I hate to say we got lucky, but the weather was mild.
Yeah.
For an August.
Yeah, minus the,
As someone that didn't have power for a week and certainly was uncomfortable sleeping in humidity, but
oh, yeah.
it wasn't 100 degrees with humidity.
Right. The humidity. Yeah, exactly. So, but Gary is still, we're looking.
NIPSCO's outage map currently, as of 7 a.m., August 25th, total customers currently without power, 5,105. Customers remaining out from the August 11th storm and subsequent storms, approximately 1,578.
Huh. Interesting.
I should also
Does
add
it say
that
where...
customers restored since the start of the event, 367,124.
That's... Okay, that... I mean, I gotta... That's impressive. That's a big number. That's even more than they... because we were hearing the number 300,000, and it's closer to 400,000, so...
Right. I believe there was some cha-cha to that, they would have, 10,000 come back on. And
then all of a sudden,
would go off. Or, right. There was some loss when they would re-energize.
Yeah, there was... The one I remember from last week was over in Highland. They had everything back in Cherville, and then all of a sudden something blew up, and, well, it was all gone again.
Yep.
And then there was also the East Chicago. That was right after we left last Tuesday. My boss said, hey, go out to East Chicago and, go look at the transformer that seemed like it was pretty spectacular. Did you see that online or?
I did. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah,
last Tuesday. Yep.
That was last week. What do I remember about anything? So, yeah, but I went out to East Chicago and I, talked to some people, in the Roxana neighborhood, but that it turns out that they weren't necessarily, or they didn't know whether they were connected to that particular blow up or not. So yeah, and I finally got to, after, running around, I finally talked to the guy who took the footage, and he explained the whole situation about how that went down. And he was in like one of the dollar stores over there, and all of a sudden it just kind of goes dark, and they usher everybody out, and he went where he heard the sound, and saw that these were kind of going one by one.
Yikes.
So now we're centered. Look at that.
Awesome.
Thank you, Adriana. So let's see. What else can we talk about? So yeah, Gary was full of a lot of excitement yesterday. So here's something funny. We're sitting at staff breakfast yesterday morning, and we were talking about Keith Lee. Mm-hmm. This, unbeknownst to us, we knew he was an influencer, and I'd been seeing over the weekend, oh, Keith Lee's coming and everything. And none of us at the table, and we're not that old, right? So we were just like, who's Keith Lee? Why do we care? And so even one of our colleagues, Ana Ortiz, she works in food. You know, she and her husband own a food. They do the food for the new the bar that took over for Zombie Club in Crown Point. They're the kitchen. So you'd figure if anybody of us would know, she would know. And she's like, no, I don't know who this is. So we're feeling pretty confident that, you know, who's this guy? So I'm talking to Boo yesterday, and I said, yeah, we were talking about this influencer, Keith Lee. He's like, oh, yeah, I know Keith Lee. I'm like, how do you know Keith Lee? And he's like, yeah. Okay. So he explained to me who Keith Lee was, and I guess that he had gotten his start doing kind of restaurant reviews, and he would go to places and he'd get their food and, you know, and I guess, you know, just a magnetic personality, the way most influencers start. And he, you know, has this ginormous following now, and he was in Gary yesterday doing, you know, bringing awareness, and I guess that was a good time. So he was out there. World Central Kitchen was out in Gary.
I did read
That's
that one.
exciting. And actually, I know we did a story on that. I didn't, but my colleague Carol did. Montego Bay, Teddy and Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
He is the one, or one of the people doing the food that was asked to do the food for World Kitchen. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Good.
So they were out there. I have a list of, you know, we can get to that in a little bit. I went through last night and was trying to find, I don't know if you can read any of that, but I don't know if I can read any of it. But just, you know, we'll go over things that are happening in Gary today that I know are Gary and, you know, Lake County or Northwest Indiana at large, and some stuff over the weekend. And I call on everybody, if anybody has somebody to, or something, an event, or, you know, food, if you know where food's getting out, supplies, anything, I call on you to call in and tell us so we can get that out to the people. So, let's see what else. What else is going on? We had a whole list of things to talk about here. So we wanted to, let's see, the Mike Braun letter. Apparently, Mr. Braun, our governor, is now wrote a sternly worded letter to NIPSCO, and apparently he's going to investigate. You know what happened.
I actually read this to understand more about it, so we could talk about it.
Right,
and it seems like it's an IURCC.
IURC.
It's the Indiana Regulatory Committee.
Right.
It's early. My brain still isn't hitting all cylinders. But so it's that investigation. It's not Attorney General. It's not
right.
So it's the utilities the Utilities Regulation Committee investigating business practices to ensure that the money that they have asked for to maintain infrastructure has gone to where they said it was going to go to.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, doesn't the governor appoint most of the IURC?
He does.
Okay. So how, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth commenting, too, that he's incredibly pro-business.
Right.
So Right. I mean, I hope I'm wrong as I say this, but it seems we're going to investigate you, and then wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right.
In the background.
Guys, do something to make this look good.
Right. I hope it has teeth. I will say that. I do, too. I hope it has teeth.
Yeah, our Attorney General was up here this week, too. I mean, he was, you know, letting people...
And he is a Munster native, correct?
He is a graduate of, you know, Munster High School, class of 88. He was up here talking about, you know, scams and stuff like that. And which is great. That's important because people get scammed out of their money. You know, seeing it on social media all the time. That people, you know, you trust someone, then, and oh, wait a minute, I paid them a deposit, you know, a giant deposit, and then, oh, wait, they're gone.
Well, even not in a time of need.
Right.
You hear stories like that. So now you've got people popping up out of nowhere.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. So, you know, important stuff, but I see he is remiss in talking about, I would think that he would be upset about NIPSCO and that would be his job, right? The Attorney General of the state looking into.
Right. And I'm not sure if they would refer an investigation if they found something, if that would go to the Attorney General.
Right. I would imagine
I'm
it
not
follows
sure
a process like that.
Right. What means to compensation for the folks who have been impacted by the outage.
Right. But I would even think that he would just mention it, or, he likes to rattle his saber, and he has been strangely silent.
Right. Was it jet skis?
Yes, the jet skis. He sued because
and that was essentially a personal
it was a personal, yes, and he's doing that through the Attorney General's office.
And not a word on NIPSCO.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, priorities. So we have, how are we doing on time? Oh, also about at 7:00 to switch over from storm coverage for just a little bit. We have Kelly Peck of Hope Alliance of Northwest Indiana coming in to talk to us for a little bit about an event she's got going on at the end of the month. So that'll be at 7:00. A nice break from storm stuff, because I think we're probably very, very stormed out, I would guess. I mean, I had a friend yesterday. She works for a national newsletter, and she just was talking about how difficult it has been, especially, growing up in the area, seeing the devastation. And she had to tell her editor yesterday, or her boss, that I can't do this. This is a lot, and especially she grew up in Gary, and she's just like, you can't possibly know the devastation. And I mean, I didn't get out to Gary. I had, because I stayed over here in Westlake County for coverage mostly. But seeing Munster get plowed was just like, pretty unbelievable. So I can't even imagine, Gary, where it was.
And Gary, so last weekend I had an opportunity to go to Gary, and I work from home. I go to work. I go into the office twice a week in Illinois, but I'm typically on the highway or not out and about in the communities, we'll say. But last weekend I was in Gary. I volunteered for a rescue and had to pick up a dog from Gary Animal Control on Sunday. And prior to that, I had met my cousin up for bagels in Miller at a place called Clutch that was lovely.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. And we left there and we're, killing time waiting to get the green light to go get the dog. And we went to the Miller school shops, which was lovely. I had never been in the building.
Okay, on the corner of Lake and 12, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So we wanted to go to the farmer's market.
Right.
They still, people in the community didn't have power. I think there were 4 or 5 vendors there. So it was not... Not 100%, right? Not a full showing. But we stopped in those shops. They were lovely. Like the thrift, they had like kind of a high-end thrift room with Anthropologie, and and that was beautiful and all at very decent prices. Okay. And then they had kind of I don't want to say moderate, but there were the Ann Taylor loft, but they had great stuff.
Really?
For the thrift, yes.
Ooh. We'll need to go there.
Yeah, and I checked their hours. I think they're open like 11 to 6.
Okay.
But it's maybe Thursday through Sunday, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, it was great. But anyways, so getting out and about and being in Gary, driving from Valparaiso to Miller, and then Miller to Animal Control, which I think is 9th Avenue.
Something like that,
Just a little bit west of Broadway. Yeah, it was unbelievable, the amount of branches, trees. Mm-hmm. Even, lines still down.
Yeah.
I think driving through there, it was easy to see why the power was out. I mean,
sure.
Again, like the length of time, there's a variety of other factors, but it was bad.
Yeah. So, there's been a lot of, Gary has finally, that was something interesting. Tucker was like the other day, he's like, why is this only page 5, because he's finally getting it down there, in Georgia. He's finally, it's made the national news. Why is it only page 5? And I'm like, I'm shocked that it got out in a paper at all,
Well, and you know more about this than I do.
Okay.
Wasn't there a situation in Cal Township with people who did not have power? Their sewers were not working. There was no power, no sewage backup. There were some very third world conditions.
Well, yes.
I'm sorry, third world is not the correct phrase anymore.
What
Developing.
We'll
call it primitive.
Okay, yeah. That was a situation. Actually, one of our mutual friends lives in that neighborhood. And it was funny before we did the story. Or I think the day that we did the story, I met up with our friend and another one of her friends in, an adjacent neighborhood. And we were talking about that, how, she was, as you know, our particular friend, she was having a bit, not a meltdown, but she was pointing out.
She's passionate.
Yeah, she is very passionate, our dear friend. But she was saying that the situation, she's like, these people knew what. So when Lake County is putting in, or it's doing a massive sewer project because, septic, after a while, septic, it gets into the soil and stuff. It's eventually, it's cool until it's not. And so people, as
you need reliable infrastructure to
Right.
store your biological materials.
Exactly. So they had, begged and pleaded, and, finally Lake County's like, all right, we're going to do this sewer project. So they started putting in these sewers, but there were attached to the people that hook into them have to have these grinders. And it's like a 60-gallon something, or she was telling us. But when the power goes out, the grinders don't work. So sewage starts getting backed up, right? Which unpleasant, and that's a terrible thing. But our friend's point was like, oh no, these people, they're like, oh, we didn't know. No, they did. There were meetings, how this stuff works, and this is endemic of every person in Lake County. Nobody wants to go to the meetings to see what's happening. They don't. I go to them. Rarely are meetings attended until something big is happening, and then everybody comes and, oh, we didn't know about it. Well, people have been talking until they're blue in the face. So that's how, and all the problems with that. And I know one woman also had, sewage coming up, or it kind of, her grinder became kind of a sinkhole.
Oh.
Yeah. But again, this was stuff that they knew about. And I guess part of it too.
This seems something that goes beyond the fine print. I'm sure there had to be some sort of release or some work order that they had to sign. You would think the 3 to 5 bullet points at the top would include.
Right. Well,
hey, this could be an issue.
Right. So at the end, or let me pull that back up. So I know that part of it was there was some sort of lockbox that no one in the neighborhood, they didn't have a key. And I guess that they needed something to that. And there was something going on with the county commissioners and stuff, but they managed to get, so in order to mitigate the problem, they're like, okay, well, we'll go ahead and we'll get, some portable toilets and some portable showers, right? To help. Well, I mean, what are you going to do? And our friend's point too, or kind of circling back, or she was talking about, everybody was up in arms. And she said, well, what about the people who are still on septic, who have no power and have no water? There's
6
always
of one, half a dozen of the other.
Right. So it's always
Choose your poison.
Yeah. So it's like, what makes you guys more important than these other people who has it worse? You can have that kind of Olympics all the time. But it was just,
We're all losers.
in this game
Or
of
everyone
life.
in that situation was.
So how are we doing on time? Do we need to? All right. We are going to go ahead and take a break. This is That's What They Said on AM 1230 WJOB 104.7 in the Strachan Van Til Studios, the voice of the region.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, powers health.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and the last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
Cherish every moment. Enjoy every aspect of life. Laugh and smile. Family Dental Care loves what we do, and it shows in every smile we make. Attentive, respectful doctors listen and use advanced technology to pinpoint the problem. Patients are then in and out with same-day service. Let Family Dental Care protect your teeth so you can focus on what's important in life.
Visit our website at familydentalcare.com for an office near you to request an appointment.
And we are back. That's What They Said on WJOB. I'm Michelle Quinn. There's Adriana Alvarez over there. And in my co-host seat is my pal Stacy. Or Tracy, you know, whichever you prefer to be called today.
Stacy.
Okay.
My legal name. Thank you.
Cool. So, Adriana, you said that we have a caller, so we can call upon the caller to call on in. So I call upon them
to call us.
Good morning,
Yes.
Michelle.
Morning.
Larry and good morning, Michelle, Larry, and Adriana.
Okay,
that
Larry's...
thing below they said, yeah, but it says right below Larry.
No, it
She
doesn't.
don't look like Larry.
No,
We're back to Burley.
I have
Oh.
two different graphics going accidentally.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. See, she turned around and looked, and you know, is she going to act like Larry?
Nah, she's cuter than Larry.
Hey,
I
way
can put my
cuter.
hair
Michelle, I
in
saw
a
you-
founding father's ponytail.
Yeah. Michelle, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
I seen the posting. I was only 28 years old when it opened up, but I see Tuesday the Petro in Hammond closed.
Yes. You know what? That was something I was just going to talk about.
Oh, the restaurant.
I thought their last day was today. That was my understanding. But it may not
Tuesday
be.
because me and my wife, my wife likes going there.
Yeah.
And when we were 28 years old and we were young and we were partying.
Right.
And we lived over in Lake Basin and Portage. We used to party all night and then go over to the old Red Rooster on Ridge Road in New Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
But then after we got married and we settled down and act like adults and behaved, we would go to the Petro or go to the Commander, which now is a different name, you know. But, God, why? I wonder why after 40, is it just he's getting tired and want to get out of it, or what's, that's a nice place to eat.
Well, I know that.
That's a nice.
No, you're right. Larry and I were just there a few weeks ago. We went there after the show to, kind of talk or, just kind of quarterback it. But I believe they're tearing it down and they're putting, is it Chipotle or they're putting something there?
Chipotle and Dutch Bros are rumored to be put in that kind of slot.
Okay.
Even though we just got a Dutch Bros right there on Munster, which I will say I was one to think that was going to cause immense amount of traffic because of its location.
Sure.
Traffic flowed pretty good.
Okay, because it's over in the old Boston Market. Is that right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
So that's why there's always traffic going that way on Calumet. So when they were like, we're going to put a Dutch Bros there, I was a little hesitant because I have seen the Dutch Bros in Crown Point, and that line is ridiculous. It's like feeling like if you put Chick-fil-A there for the first time and people don't know what it is. And then the line is wrapped around.
Crown Point may have been the first to open. That is just a tragedy, though, that you're taking out Petros. And isn't it the new Petros?
Right,
because the old one burned down. But it's been the new Petros for, 20 plus years.
Right.
But to take out something like that to replace it with a chain.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, but okay, now it's sad that that's going to go on. I'm going to go by there this morning and see, because before they close, I want to take my wife there because man, we love that place. But now let's talk about sports a second, very shortly. Okay. I mean, that's Jed's bracket.
Right.
Okay. Yep. College football and major football is getting ready to start up. Yeah. And Adrian, she's a Purdue person, okay? I was just curious is Indy, I got my red IU shirt and hat back out now for the season starting up. Yeah, but I'm just wondering, is Indiana going to get another Heisman's or Purdue? Or when is Purdue going to get a Heisman's trophy? I'm just curious on that one. When's Purdue ever going to bring a Heisman's trophy to Indiana, Purdue?
Well,
I would argue as a headline reader of sports.
Okay.
I mean, Purdue has traditionally been the football team in
the
state of Indiana. And Indiana had a great run last year, but I don't have any intel on what this year's team's looking like.
No. That's not something I do.
No. I'm going to talk about one more thing. I'll let you go so all the other callers can call in, and I very enjoy your show. I'm glad your brakes are working halfway, so when those stoplights ain't working, you can do a four-way stop like we're supposed to, like other people don't, But the thing was, because I've been going back and forth to Portage to try to help my youngest son out because they don't have no electricity. I've been going down 12 and 20. The lights are out. But the thing I want to talk about is Sunday, behind the Gene Shepherd Center, they were giving food away at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I had my two flyers set up for that one and then at noon over at the Martin Luther King.
Okay.
Well, I'm over there, get there early enough to film the one at Shepherd. Well, their truck broke down, so the lady hands the flyer out to go over to Martin Luther King Jr. They're giving the flyer says feed the community.
Right.
So I was talking to bunks about 100 people over there at Gene Shepherd, and we were talking before waiting for it. And she passed the flyer. Some of the people went. I had to take my posting off my page last night of the one at Martin Luther King because I went there and filmed it, and nobody was sociable over there. It was like, if you're not their type, you know, I had 20 complaints on my page of people that left Shepherd to go over there, and they felt they weren't welcome there. It was, if you're not their type, that church that put it on, you're not that type. Because, like, I felt uncomfortable filming it there. I did enough pictures and air shots, and I had to take it off last night because I had 20 complaints from people that left Shepherd, went over there, and it was very uncomfortable. But the thing is now let's talk about politics for 1 second.
Okay.
If Mayor McDermott and Bob Starsky run for president, vice president, you know, man, will I vote for them. Because yesterday's council meeting, the mayor went through and explained everything and I saw workers come by my house to take trees. The mayor explained everything. He jumped right in and started to bam, 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 get the streets cleared. And then Bob Starsky did what he did.
Right.
But I was sitting there thinking, after listening to how the mayor explained and then what Bob Starsky put out there to get this going, even though I'm a Republican, if Mayor McDermott and Bob Starsky would run for president, I'll vote for them. You know.
Well, you're talking about Starkey, right? Sorry.
Yeah. All the other cities did wonderful jobs. I've been around all of them doing stuff.
Right.
And all the cities just did as much as they could possibly do.
Right.
I mean, this was one thing in the world that nobody ever expected to happen.
No.
I mean, a hurricane is by the oceans and the waters. We had a hurricane on land and by Lake Michigan, you know.
Right.
I mean, about a year ago, we're going to look back at this and think that how I've seen so many people come together, every color, race, and everything. Everybody just worked together and just put everything aside to help each and everybody else, you know. I mean,
right.
We got to look back and give thanks to this community that all these people that came out and fed them, gave them water, you know, is just beautiful. What the atmosphere I've seen of people, just everybody helping everybody. There was a time when, hey, I don't care who you are, what you are, just let's get through this.
Yeah.
You know, that's about it. But
okay,
Adrian, make sure you're a good cheerleader for Purdue and make sure they get a Heisman Trophy this year.
No, IU needs a second one.
I'm a split household, so it depends on who's playing now. If they're both playing each other, you know, I hope both teams have fun.
Oh, is that how you're going to do
everybody,
yeah.
Everybody just have a good day, and at least one thing: if you see Michelle coming up behind you, she's got brakes.
Yeah,
stop.
I
She
have,
won't bump you.
and I already have a depth perception. I don't know what it is about being in my car, but I feel like when I'm in an intersection, I'm already halfway in it. It's the strangest thing. I don't know how I haven't managed to get the front end clipped. But
I bet you, Michelle, now that you got brakes and your partner next door, I bet you got a bumper sticker that says, "I brake for animals."
I don't. She might. She's our rescue maven over here.
Right.
So
hey, I'm gonna let you go. Your show's getting wonderful.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
And you know, I'm waiting to see that Bumblebee shirt back on you.
I know.
You know?
It's in the laundry again. So my
All right.
blue and white.
Well,
All right. Take care, sir.
Everybody have a wonderful, nice, safe day today.
Yep. You too, sir.
You too. So many
all right.
fashionistas.
I know.
I mean, all this feedback. All these people really looking out for your best interests and wanting you to actualize yourself.
Hey, I mean, I have an actual, like, you know, girly top on today, which, you know, rarely ever happens. So
the laundry pile must be high.
Girl, it's always high. So, yeah, so kind of dovetailing off that, we going back to the whole influencer thing. And, well, there's a couple of things. So you've got the influencers and, you know, influxes of people coming to Gary. And I don't know that is necessarily, but we all know that I'm also very cynical, and I tend to believe that, what I know of influencers who are the bane of my existence because they get me to spend money. It's really sad, but are they being, Keith Lee aside, because Keith came in and he was with, was it an NBA player I think I saw?
Was it Glenn Robinson?
No, it wasn't Glenn. Glenn did his own thing. Glenn gave money to the city of Gary. But Keith came armed and ready with, he came to help.
And he was boots on the ground,
yeah.
correct?
And
wasn't he doing food and maybe cleaning supplies?
Yeah.
Am I recalling this?
Yeah,
There's so many.
Yeah.
And come out to help, which is wonderful.
Right. Are all of them coming out to help? Or see, that's kind of my thought. Or is it these people who are coming for their photo op? Oh, look at me, I'm in Gary, and look how bad it is.
I would argue, and I am cynical, but maybe not as cynical as you.
Yeah.
If you are going to come and help the people, if you are bringing water, if you are bringing food, if you're bringing cleaning supplies, if you're giving people money, if you are doing something to give back to the community, have your photo op. If you're just coming for a photo op or you're just sharing videos to leverage it, that's a little tougher to watch.
Right.
Like that kind of self-promotion aspect of it.
Right. I wonder, but again, I haven't been out amongst the crowd of, people or influencers that were in Gary. I actually, like I said, I haven't been out in Gary covering any of this because I've been over here. So, but I just kind of feel like, all these people all of a sudden, and I know that the Gary plight, again, just, I when we were during ad time, we were talking about how Tucker had mentioned, why is this only on page 5? Because it's finally reached Georgia, I guess. And they, he's like, how is it page 5? And I'm like, you're probably lucky that it got, and that page 5, that's probably pretty good, because we don't have, this is how newsrooms are decimated now. That, a tragedy like this, going way back in the day of the great flood of, we reference 08 all the time, but also the flood in Frog Hollow.
Oh, that was a 94? 96? That was a late
No,
90s
that was 90,
gig, wasn't it?
91. Oof. 91 or 92. Or no.
If only we had something we could look this up.
Yes, please. Go ahead and look that up. I think it was, if I remember correctly, my stage in life, I feel like I might have been working. Wait, okay, let me.
Wait for it. 1990.
Was it 90? Yeah, look at that. Okay. Wow. So I was still in college when that happened. But I mean, I remember it, but it made national news back then. But newspapers back then were still relatively healthy. So, now they're not. And people get their news from social media. And, you'd think you'd think it would catch on faster, but I guess it
No, I think to your point, there's more people telling stories online.
Yes.
I think there's people who, right, but in terms of, they're not putting out press releases. I think their reach is local.
Sure.
It's not necessarily getting to people who would make decisions for, I don't know, the New York Times or Washington Post.
Right. So, yeah, the New York Times did 2 stories, within a few days. And I can't say that I'm super impressed with, because there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, and I feel like they kind of took the easy way out, but they focused on one thing over another, and send the interns out, and anyway.
Right, there are a lot of angles.
Yeah,
you could take on it.
Indeed. Indeed. It's starting to get stuffy in here. Do you feel stuffy? Because I feel stuffy. Is it the lights? I don't know.
I can turn down the AC if you like.
Or turn it up, you mean?
Well.
Whatever makes it cooler in here. So, cool. Thank you.
We can do that.
Cool. Let's see.
I will say
else?
to one point that Trucker Mike had said about Mayor McDermott, and I feel like this is anecdotally. I know I've seen it in writing from some news outlet, and I'm not sure where.
Sure.
But the cities that have had their own employees out, Public Works, what have you, but hiring third party. The article was $1.5 million to remove debris. I know my parents are in Maryville. They said they had dump trucks from Dyer Construction out picking up leaves.
Right.
Last weekend going to Gary, I saw grapple trucks with the trucks that are the big, it's like 2 dumpsters. And then they have the cranes that'll pick up the larger materials. So it's good to see that that's really where the rubber meets the road, I would argue, as far as local government, making sure that the trash is picked up and the trees are picked up.
Right.
And, in this case. So it's good to see that that's happening.
Well, yeah, Munster, they signed contracts for $1.25 million for cleanup. And also, this was kind of neat. You wouldn't have thought this is a need. They have a debris management company they've hired, and the debris management company goes around and follows the debris pickup company or the haulers to make sure that they're not counting to, okay, we got this pile of rubbish, and then they would go, or okay, it's just one and not counting it, and overcharging FEMA.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, right. I'm like, there's companies that
kind
do
of an
that.
auditor.
Yeah. So they have the haulers and then an auditor coming. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But they're
2026, you've got to
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
got to
niche.
watch it all.
So anyway, they signed that contract last week. Yeah, that was a meeting. That was on Thursday, and people were very, very, as you can imagine, they were very hostile, because the power's not on. And, and I remember this from, other things that I've covered, like, the tornado and the Great Flood of 2008, that people, you forget when everything is gone, everything is heightened. And the politicians, the councils and stuff, they really take it on the chin, because people don't understand, or this has happened to me, and you need to fix this right now. And it's not always, because the big problem, and I was guilty of that. I always tell the story about how when the cul-de-sac flooded in front of the resort, and I had called up, it was Rick Konopasek was the public works director of Griffith at the time. And I, screaming at him, my cul-de-sac is flooded. He's like, I don't know what you want me to do. And I thought that was very rude. But then you find out when you go to the meetings, because you hadn't gone before the meetings, and you find out the stuff when you go, that, look, it was a 500-year storm, and all this water is going into pipes that are, like an inch around. And I'm exaggerating, but, this is what infrastructure was built for, and it wasn't built for a 500 year storm.
This is exceeding the infrastructure's capacity.
Yeah. So, and I remember, and I'm sure Rick remembers this too, me apologizing. It's like, dude, I had no idea. I'm sorry. I was a little tense that day. So.
No, and Jed had talked about this last week, about the impact on people's psyche. Living without power, taking cold showers if you have water at all, not being able to cook, not being able to use the microwave, and even there's that muscle memory. I think you walk into a room and you flip the switch and you expect the light to go on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It doesn't. And you're like, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
So you're reminded of it at every turn.
Yeah. I had no way to cook because, my apartment's all electric. So.
Right. We were joking about how we had to talk to each other at night. It wasn't just an option to doom scroll.
Yeah. I was able, or reminiscent of my tragedy in January when AT&T went out and, looking for the bars. Oh, please, 4G LTE, please. That connects me, trying to, because I don't necessarily need the TV, but I got to have something I can read. Yeah. And since I can't read a book, I'm got my face in my phone.
No, that's so frustrating too. If you use the Kindle or Libby or Hoopla or any of those apps, right, you couldn't access.
Right.
It's really humbling to realize how little control we have over the things we depend on.
All right, so we've got about 5 minutes. Do we want to run ads now, or because I don't know if Kelly's here or...
We can, yeah.
Yeah, we can go ahead. So, all right, we will go ahead and take a break. This is That's What They Said. I'm Michelle Quinn. That's Adriana. This is Stacy. We are WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 in the Strachan Van Til Studios, the voice of the region.
Indiana wants me.
Know a Hoosier serving in the military or living overseas? Indiana wants every eligible Hoosier to participate in our elections. Military and overseas voters can register and vote securely from anywhere in the world. Voting assistance for service members, families, and eligible Hoosiers is available now. Visit IndianaWantsYou.com or contact your county election office. And remember, Indiana wants you. Message sponsored by your Indiana Secretary of State.
Indiana wants me.
When your home needs help, the last thing you need is a faceless corporation or sales-driven franchise. At Myers Companies, we've been proudly local since 1951, born and raised right here in Northwest Indiana. We're family-owned and operated, built on trust, hard work, and integrity. And because we're family, we treat you like family. Your comfort and safety always come first. For HVAC, plumbing, and electrical done right, choose Myers Companies. Local, family-owned, here for your family.
Plumbers Local 210 is building the future, and we're looking for service plumbers to join our team. Our training center invests nearly $500,000 every year to make sure our members are the best in the industry. From a 5-year apprenticeship and an associate degree at Ivy Tech to ongoing certifications in safety and new technology, our plumbers are trained for excellence. Every member is drug tested and licensed for your safety and peace of mind. When you need plumbing work done, make sure you ask for the license. It's your right to ask.
St. Nicholas Byzantine Catholic Church, located at 8103 Columbia Avenue in Munster, celebrates Divine Liturgy every Sunday at 9:30 a.m. We are Eastern Rite Catholics in union with the Pope, the Bishop of Rome. All Catholics who celebrate Divine Liturgy or Mass with us fulfill their Holy Day and Sunday obligations as they do in their own churches. Join us in person this coming Sunday to find out the beauty of a Byzantine Catholic Divine Liturgy at St. Nicholas Church.
Okay, good morning, everyone. You're listening to That's What They Said on WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana, here at the Strachan Van Til Studios. It is about to be 7 a.m. Tuesday, August 25th. So let's do a quick traffic and weather update before we get into the rest of the show. So currently right now at the Track Evento Studios, it is 57 degrees. Today we are seeing highs of 79 degrees, lows of 64. Mostly sunny and nice, clear skies tonight. Moving forward into the rest of the week, on Wednesday, highs of 81 degrees, lows of 63 degrees. Humid with a thunderstorm, partly cloudy and humid in the nighttime. Thursday, highs of 79 degrees, lows of 61. Humid with a possible shower and clear skies. Taking a look at traffic flow in the region, 65 going north and south is looking good. 80 going east and west is looking good. 90 going east and west is looking good. We may have just slight traffic on the connector of the Bishop Ford and Dan Ryan, but it's not looking too bad. And of course, as you get into the city, that is where you're going to see most of your traffic. But it's morning traffic. That's usually what we are expecting. There is, although, there's always just a little like red diamond, and that usually indicates accidents, but it's just the White Sox game has they just have that there, and there's like just plan for traffic. You know what? Good. I'm glad they do that. But we do got a couple of callers as well.
Okay.
So if we want to take those before you guys continue on.
Yes, we will go ahead. Go ahead and patch us in.
All right. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
This is an article out of the Chicago Sun-Times dated Sunday, August 23rd.
Okay.
Headlining, Want to Help Northwest Indiana Storm Victims? Here's how. And they list 6 organizations that you can send donations to. There's Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Gary.
Yep.
Flourish Church and Flourish Community Hub.
Mm-hmm.
That's spelled Flourish.
Okay.
Food Bank of Northwest Indiana.
Yep.
Gary Muslim Center.
Mm-hmm.
Gary NAACP. And the YWCA of Northwest Indiana. So send a few buckaroos there, and I'm sure they'll get to the right spots in terms of helping people who need help.
Indeed. I was actually a friend of mine. She works for Catholic Charities, and I was going to have her call in because I saw that, the Bears gave Catholic Charities like $100,000, and I wanted her to come in and talk to me about, or talk to us rather. Sorry, not talk to me. Oh, look who's here. Hi, Jed. Hi. I was waiting for you to show up. So anyway, that I was going to have her talk about what they were or how they were spending the money, but she said that her executive director is coming in to talk to Jed tomorrow. So, I guess you'll have to wait until tomorrow to find out how that money. But I was kind of wondering, Glenn Robinson donated $100,000 to the city of Gary, and Hard Rock donated X amount of money to, I think it was $100,000 or something, to the city of Gary. So I wonder exactly. Come on in, Jed. Are you going to stay for the interview when she comes, or
who's that?
I'm having Kelly Peck of Hope Alliance come in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
I'm doing an interview today with Seljan, the head of the Catholic Charities.
Right. Yeah. That's because I was going to have my friend call in to talk about that, but she said no, that he's coming on with you. So I guess.
Yeah. So I'm going to record a spotlight with him, and then we'll play it tomorrow, and that's kind of how we do it now.
Right.
For me, I do like 4 to 7 minute little hits. Hey,
yep.
You got $200,000 from the Bears. What a great thing, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm curious what that money is, or how they're distributing the money, or what they're using it for.
So I saw that Hard Rock also gave $100.
Right.
So
Gary.
Of course, nice, solid sponsor of IU football and Purdue basketball and all that here on WJOB is Hard Rock, so I got to mention them. But I just wonder how many of these large companies are going to step up. I mean, the Bears had to do this because right, Tracy?
Yeah, Tracy.
I know. I'm sorry. I looked on the tape last week, and I'm like, God, I called her Tracy like 4 times.
and even after we kept correcting you.
Yes, it doesn't matter, man. I got Tracy on the mind. But now I'm dyslexic, so once I get a name, it's
there. You're Tracy now. Just go ahead and change it.
My buddy divorced a woman by a certain name that was the name of my good friend's wife.
Right.
So I'm calling his new wife the divorced wife's
name.
Oh, that's a faux pas.
Oh, party foul.
What are you laughing about over there, huh? She's eating potato chips, laughing at.
No, I'm laughing because I have people in my family that do that too.
Yeah,
and we were like, who are you talking about? And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, you gotta clock it real quick.
So I'm wondering, it's just, you don't realize how many people have different levels of dyslexia. Mine is just with names, man. My wife's like, hey, go over and say hi to, I'll go say hi to that guy. I'll go, hey, Jerry, how you doing? You idiot, it's Jake. Over and over. But I know it started with J, right?
Right.
But
you're close.
So there's so much stuff going on with the recovery efforts.
Yep.
And I heard you guys talking about it. I mean, $200,000 from the Bears. They had to give them. They had to do something.
Sure.
I came on and I just kind of ripped them because here we are in the middle of this fiasco, and 2 days later they have a ridiculous press conference.
Right, we talked about that last week.
Hey, we're still thinking about you, Illinois.
Yeah, we haven't forgotten about you, but
Yeah, I mean,
if you want to be in the community, be in the community.
Exactly. And so they, probably had to do some damage control, as you well know.
Yeah.
Crisis communications is, I did that one in the beginning, and I've always learned that, brands really have to watch out how things unfold about their name. And
especially now.
Especially now, yeah. So anyways, they were making you see, this whole thing with the Bears is kind of exacerbated right now. We're all thinking about the storm.
Right.
And we're all thinking about our own homes. I still got a 2-story pile of debris in my front yard.
How does it feel to have power back?
And I will talk about that.
Yeah.
Because many of you read my Substack, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I read it this morning.
And I wrote about, it was day 14 and no power. And we were kind of getting used to it, except for the generator noise in the entire neighborhood. Everybody eventually had a generator, and you know what that sounds like when you have to open the windows at night? First of all, they say that if you do some sort of aerial, that it shows how bad the air is right now around the areas that have all the generators. I get that.
Oh, I'm sure. Burning all that fuel?
Burning all that fuel, and it's, some of them aren't all that efficient. So you have the noise, you have the pollution, and then you wind up getting ready. Hey, how's that potato chips over there, huh? Who eats
She's eating Skinny Pop popcorn.
Who eats potato chips at 7 in the morning? Oh, Skinny Pop popcorn. All right, my fault. Guilty pleasure of life. As you can tell.
Yes, they're good.
They are good. All right, so
Breakfast of Champions.
The Bears did that, but I got power yesterday at about, 1 o'clock or something, and I went home, and it was glorious. You know what I mean? First of all, since we had gone into every room and subconsciously turned on the lights, every light in the house was on, right? And, even the TV was on. Everything was on. And I walked into the house, and I had heard people like that. Hey, dude, when your power goes on, you should go home and check on things. And then, I unplugged the sump pump first and the refrigerators and gave them power. But Debbie Wargo, whom you know. Yeah, she said that,
Debbie?
Watch, once your power comes on, you're going to wind up standing in the dark and you don't know why. And there I am again. It's just standing in the dark. And I'm like, why don't we turn the light on, man? This sounds kind of weird.
I did the same thing the day after ours came on. I went into the basement for something and didn't turn the light on and had my phone flashlight and was looking around and thought, why am I doing this?
Exactly. There's just little things. Like I would shave and I'd get the phone, and both of our bathrooms where I would shave are interior. There's no windows. It wouldn't matter. It's the middle of the night anyways when I get ready. But I found myself trying to put that flashlight up and it was actually worse. It was better to just do it by feel. And I put in the Substack that my goatee, as you could notice, is now crooked because I'm shaving in the dark every day. Even my wife's like, dude, what's wrong with your face? It looks crooked.
I wouldn't have I don't notice it now.
I trimmed it up today. I had lights.
Okay, yeah. So I guess I didn't see you when you looked like a disaster, but I know you noted it in your Substack.
Yeah. Can you give us the NIPSCO number for today? Is it? I know it's got to be.
Yeah,
below,
we just did that.
I know it's got to be below 10,000. So here's the thing. Now, what's going to happen now? It's been 2 weeks exactly, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen now, right? Did you see the vitriol coming out at NIPSCO, right?
Right.
Mainly, right?
Right.
What is it? 3,000?
219. Mm-hmm.
Wait,
that are currently without power.
3,219. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so
1,141 remaining from the August 11th storm and subsequent storms.
So what are the main issues that came out of this? Well, first of all, the one that's national news and is getting commented on by many celebrities was it racist to not fix Gary's power before you fixed Munster's power? Now, I can, for one, say I was out for 14 days. I didn't see anybody.
Right.
Nobody came in looking. And one day some dude showed up and they clipped a couple wires and it wasn't as big a deal as we thought it was going to be, right?
Yep.
So all I'm talking about now is the national story, hey, all these people were out and 370,000 customers were out. And now the higher percentage left are in Gary. And is it because of like corporate racism? And I don't know exactly how you handle that, because that's a very sensitive thing whenever you start talking about race, and you have to actually, and Adriana, understand this, you talk race here because when you go on to a larger news outlet, very few people can talk race appropriately. They can't respectfully, and they feel all uncomfortable and like they're going to say the wrong thing. You just talk about it. That's what's happening. So, but you have to get used to it.
Yeah.
And so anyways, so it's mostly black people in Gary.
Right.
And it's mostly white people in the collar suburbs, right?
Sure.
So would you be able to go back and run a regression and say that the white people in the collar counties or in the collar suburbs got more attention than the black people in Gary? Now, the numbers can tell that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or you could show that. You could even go deeper if you really wanted to do this and say, well, what are the communications between the leaders of NIPSCO and the various leaders of the towns and cities? Were their towns and cities going, hey, man, why aren't you over here? And they're going, saying really, awful things about NIPSCO and you should be in my town, right?
Right. That's what everybody was saying that.
Everybody was saying
That's
that.
right.
So you have 19 overlapping municipal taxing jurisdictions, and I put it in my Substack.
Yep.
You all get an F for communication. That's it. You don't talk to each other. No one wants to set up a system of communicating. We had, I don't know, a dozen leaders that came here because they knew they could at least talk to other people.
Right.
This is just awful. It's no better than it was in 2008.
Right.
Part of it is everybody's got their own kingdom.
Yep.
And they don't want anybody to talk about it or touch it, or we got my money and just stay away, right? Mm-hmm. They don't talk. Everybody go, hey, how you doing? I'm in this. And I've been saying it to leaders for some time. Communication is your biggest issue. It's not generators. It's not forklifts. It's your nightmare is communicating with each other, because if there had been better communication this time around, we would not be on the national news as having a racist power company. Okay?
Right.
If we were able to say, hey, listen, these people are bad here, and all the people were at the same table, and they got together, and Munster was talking with Maryville, which was talking with LaPorte, which was really bad. I mean, it's just ridiculous that we have to wake up in the morning and I have to look on the front page of the New York Times that this is a racist area because our power company saw first to go to the white areas.
Okay.
Now, if it's true, and there's communication. Like some NIPSCO official said, hey, there's no possible way that happened in this type of environment. I blame that on communication. None of these folks want to hear it from me. I'm not even doing it anymore. I don't want to be involved.
Right.
I was involved trying to set up, this is how this has to happen. Mm-hmm. You folks have to talk to each other. Now, granted, I was part of the NISA and they were trying to make it happen.
Right.
But as soon as COVID hit and they did what they needed to do, they set up Ground Zero at Gary Airport, and then it kind of died. Why does it die? Because people in their own communities are out bitching about NIPSCO not coming, but they don't want to take the extra step to set up a way to have a portal and a method of communication. Now, that's just me looking at it throughout how many of the years. No one's going to listen to it, and it's going to go back to normal because it's 19 overlapping individual countries in Lake County. When we have a disaster, this is what happens. Okay?
Right.
We're on the front page of the New York Times as being racist when really it's probably more of a communication issue than it is racism issue.
Well, I've been kind of chewing this in my brain, and you can tell me whether I'm, insane or not. But you've got the three biggest cities, Gary, Hammond, East Chicago. All of them have the oldest infrastructure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how does that become the oldest infrastructure? Why does, and this would be for NIPSCO to answer, why do you just let them? Because, they're all supposed to, I remember the town of Griffith had an absolute stroke when NIPSCO came in. We have the bike path over there, that crosses Columbia on Main Street, right? And it was this beautiful tree-lined, it was great. And then NIPSCO came in and cut down all the trees. And now it's miserable to ride because NIPSCO, we need this because we need to be able to see our power lines or our infrastructure underground. They need to be able to, the infrared or whatever. So They obviously can they can trim it, and they did that. But what causes them to, we're going to, I don't know if it's neglect or why are we just going to leave, Gary, East Chicago, and Hammond, who do have how does their infrastructure become the oldest and most neglected?
What kind of question is that? I mean, think about it.
That's
They're
why I'm
the oldest
asking.
cities, right?
Right.
I sat on that NIPSCO board for 17 years. Okay. Every time they came up, we're going to spend all this money. I'm like, well, you got to spend it up on the north part of the county. Well, we got to put all these things underneath the ground here in Winfield and underneath the ground in Crown Point. Eventually, I just left the board. I'm like, this, I'm not going to be the spokesperson for North County, and it can get, if anything, it is a North County versus a South County and the suburbs versus a racism issue in my mind. It's not just Gary, Hammond, and East Chicago. They all have old stuff. I complained about it here for years.
Right.
And then we just moved back. And in all irony, 95% of people are without power. And here we are 20 minutes after it on the air, me and Dave Kuziak. Now, it was a stroke of unbelievable fortune. Because when, Adriana, it's very difficult to be like a 64-year-old man and like argue too heavily with a 22-year-old head of your podcast network. But we have had arguments. I do not want anything ever to get in the way of just being able to flip on the switch and start talking on the radio. It has to be, that's the number one thing.
Sure.
Now she's got all these podcasts. I got to do one, by the way, at 9:00 with Weezer's got to wait, or he could even sit in, but I got to do one with Catholic Charities, okay? Yeah, I got a bunch tomorrow, too. She's doing a great job with it. I didn't want it. I just wanted to be on the radio.
Well,
and Lynette's over here. She's like, we need an app. The app's coming out here in a couple of weeks, and we've been working on it and blah, blah, blah.
That's exciting.
But number one thing is in all irony, we left Purdue, we would have never been on the radio, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We would have never been. I know you guys are all waiting. Just hold on. We would have never been on the radio because we were at Purdue. It had to go to Miami. It had to come here. There was like 9 failure points. We would have never been on. Mm-hmm. But all we did is Kuziak and I came on and turned it on. Mm-hmm. And he's like, dude, I can't believe you have power. Nobody in the region has power. And here we are. Yeah. Radio did what it's supposed to do.
Right.
And honestly, I think it's because it was incredibly old infrastructure. In other words, we don't ever really go off the air here because of wind. Never. Okay? Mm-hmm. It's always rain. And water gets into the, it wasn't a huge rain during that. It was all wind, right?
Right.
So I'm like, man, I wonder if we're going to be on, because it's just water gets into the substation and things short. And then next thing you know, we don't have power at WJOB. Mm-hmm. But we had power. And I'm like, well, it's just, so in answer to your question about it being old infrastructure, in my mind, I think it kind of worked for us because it's just really old, extra thick steel that everything's built with, and it was able to withstand the wind. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, back to the New York Times articles.
Right.
That was incredibly, and I'm looking at the Times right here, and, you know, they're kind of fueling the fire, I guess, and you guys are not as much.
No.
And, you know, was it NIPSCO says it learns from and makes improvements with every storm.
Does it?
There's a bunch of NIPSCO fatal shooting. I mean, there's all sort. You know, after the flood of 2008, we didn't really want to look at what the problems were because it was just small areas: Gary, Munster, Highland. A little bit of Griffith, a little bit of Cherville, not very many other people. People in Crown Point Dave would call in and say, I don't want to pay that money. I live in Crown Point. If I wash my car and it goes into Little Cal, screw you, right?
Right.
He didn't care because he wasn't affected.
Right.
This time, everyone was affected. Mm-hmm. And now it is like, what are we going to do going forward?
Okay.
Right?
Well, let me ask you this. Stacey and I were talking earlier about Braun's. She's in Valpo.
Oh, I thought.
You mean Tracy. Yeah, right, Tracy. All right, sorry, Trace.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, Braun's sternly worded letter to NIPSCO. I'm calling on you to, you know, we're doing this. What do you think? What kind of traction is that going to get?
Here's the thing. You know, I've been doing this for 40 some years. Okay, I started at Adriana's age.
Right.
Hosting the afternoon show.
Right.
I've seen every sort of blowhard in every sort of situation. I'm not saying Braun's a blowhard. But I'm telling you right now, people need some, not peace or tranquility.
They need to see someone doing something.
They need something, and I'm not really sure what it is. They need some confidence that our power grid isn't selling out to data centers, right? They need confidence that our leaders aren't, stealing money left and right. Mm-hmm. They need confidence that we could work together in a time of turmoil. Mm-hmm. Now, we did that on the person-to-person level, right? Mm-hmm. You saw that, and people were stepping forward. But we really do have infrastructure problems, in my mind, at the leadership level. And NIPSCO is not Edmund Schreer, who lived in Munster and went over and down to NIPSCO, and every time he went to the grocery store, everybody recognized him and told him a NIPSCO problem, okay? These are corporate people from out of town coming in and trying to act like they're one of us, and they're not.
No.
Okay?
No, the videos, Vince Parisi, the CEO, out in a crisp white hard hat and super clean boots that I'm sure had never seen a job site before that day, walking the streets in Hobart with the again, a crisp, safety vest.
So
like, that's right. They're projecting an image, but if you really look at it and see, kind of the context clues that, right, this is not what he does every day.
So even me, I'm kind of pissed a little bit at certain things.
Right.
I wasn't going to do that during the 2-week cooling off period. I'm like, nope, everybody needs us to, mostly get their power back, mostly get their lives back, mostly get their stoplights back, all the businesses opening. And we need that. And now we need to look at it. And people do need to have their feet held to the fire. NIPSCO is not homegrown, happy company. It's an out-of-town company trying to make money here, okay? And that we have to accept that. They have to accept that, but they have to personally, I mean, we haven't had our trees trimmed out here or at my house in years. They used to do it every couple of years. I don't know what
I think
happened.
it was a 7-year cycle.
Yeah, whatever it is.
It should be a 7-year cycle.
And, they have a lot of soul searching to do. But grandstanding right now, is it too early to do that? I mean, I don't know. I was critical of the Bears. It was awful timing.
Right.
Now, Ken Allen's out there because he wants to be the first one to get all the class actions.
Right.
I get that. I saw the same thing when the two trains collided in South Shore.
Right.
He was the first one there, and he's smart. He's like, I'm the first one. I'm going to run the class action.
Can we talk about Ken Allen for a minute
Sure,
and that
go
lawsuit?
ahead.
So he is doing this. He's trying to get a class action. What's the result of that going to be? If NIPSCO pays out $10 million to all the people in the class.
Everybody gets $5.
I was going to say, if everybody gets $100, your bill's going to jump $1,000 a year. Ken Allen's the only one that wins there.
Ooh, way to go, Tracy.
I fully support the discovery. I think that there are questions from that need to be answered. But again, like the IURC, if that is legitimate and if that is asking questions, I think that has potential to be more impactful than that. I would argue, too, on discovery. Was it really an emergency surgery? Like, if it didn't happen that day, if they didn't airlift her out, are they going to say that the hospital should have had a separate feed or that the hospital should have had a bigger generator? Like, I think that NIPSCO is going to try to deflect responsibility on that one and say the hospital could have done more.
I can't say how insightful that was. Because everybody's mad, they want to all be. I'm going to be part of the class action.
Everyone wants to be part
and
of
I'm going to get
$89
in 5 years, and lawyers are going to make millions.
Right, and our bills are still going to go
up. So I'm like, does it?
You take the win here, but at what
all
cost?
You're going to do if you join this, I mean, what's going to happen with that is the. What this storm did, now that we're 2 weeks out, and there's 3219 that still don't have power. If you don't have power, call us, 219-845-1100. It exposes some of our issues. We are not a cohesive area.
Right.
We don't work together well. We don't talk to each other. We don't want anybody in our community outside of our communities, and that is... okay, I love that about us. I love going to St. John, and they think, oh, I'm St. John, stay and get away from me. Hey, you know what? Here we are in Chesterton. What a great, beautiful thing right by the lake. We got a country clubs, and it's a beautiful area. But just, kind of stay away from us, will you please?
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, we got a derecho 110 miles an hour, and we all have to work together and share emergency services. We all have to work with the power company. We all have to communicate with each other. We can't travel from one town to the next. Oh, well, now maybe we need to kind of see what's going on, right? We've got some work to do in that regard. In terms of NIPSCO, they're an out-of-town company coming in to make money. Mm-hmm. And honestly, just like many of our media, including the Times, I'm like, dude, they're just in here to make money. Just relax. That's the goal. Now, what the storms and chaos like this separates who the people here for the long term and are invested in the community and those that are not. Mm-hmm. It kind of shows where, we're a hot area. People are coming from Illinois all the time to open up a business here, not get involved in the community, and somehow take a bunch of money back to their corporate headquarters in Illinois.
Yeah.
And it's a larger thing with the power company, or now you've got a foreign-owned U.S. Steel. You've got a foreign-owned British Petroleum. Really what it does is it shows us that we're an area that is really kind of owned elsewhere. Mm-hmm. That kind of, I don't know. Some of the older folks are like, I never thought that would happen. Hey, thanks for letting me come in. I said I wouldn't say anything for 2 weeks, but we got work to do, my friends. It's not going to be me. I'm not doing this, okay? I'm not setting up a communication system or bringing everybody together. And these are Steve Shekel. He's retiring. Right. Someone's got to take that ball, or we'll be here again in 10 or 15 years at the next calamity.
You think it's going to be 10 or 15 years before the next calamity?
Well, last one was 18.
Well, yeah, but it's getting closer together because this year it's been, and to your point about coming together, I will say that when Maryville got creamed, I will never forget, because I tried to go out there to, start working, and there was fire truck after EMS from all over the place, and they all converged on that strip mall on 61st Street. So it can be done because, I mean, the amount of support that they got was, incredible. I'm sitting there stuck in traffic because nobody was moving. But, just...
Same thing with the Route 2 thing.
Yeah.
I mean, police can come together on crime-stopping situations, and they will, and they all support, right?
Right.
But are we supporting and communicating in EMS situation or in
that particular,
I would argue too, though, those are laser focused situations.
Yeah.
This is the entire region going through it.
I was just
together,
about to
right, and there's not right.
Yeah.
We're going to enter a time. There's 3219 people that are out, and they're laughing at this. And I apologize that we feel as if we've moved on, but
no,
personally, maybe I have because we got power yesterday.
Yeah, you got your power. You got yours.
I could go to the bathroom. I'll just give you one, and we'll go to a break.
Okay.
So I got to pee in the dark, right?
Right.
And it's the middle of the night. You're
sure, Alexis loves that.
Yeah, she's. A couple times you're not exactly as accurate as you would think you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the middle of the night, I took to I'm just going in the backyard. I can't see the toilet, whatever. So it's
don't have to worry about your neighbor's cameras or lights.
Yeah, there's no
Anything.
cameras. I thought about that. I go, well, the lights are off. It's dark. I mean, what's the difference? It's warm out. And but now I would never do that because everybody in the world has a camera out there.
Yep.
But it was one minor advantage. I could walk out, partly because I had missed the toilet a little bit in the middle of the night. And I'm sure there's other dudes that are going, oh my God, so did I during the blackout. Hey, thanks for letting me talk for a little bit.
You
got a bunch of people that want to call in, so let's take a break and take them, huh?
Cool. All right.
Right.
Need clean energy without the junk? I'm Jim Diedlow. I used to live on burgers, football, basketball, baseball. Now I'm gluten-free and more into biking, golf, and yoga. But I still need energy. That's why I love Paradise, developed by Emily D. Edwards right here in Cherville. My favorite is Paradise Packs Strawberry with gluten-free pretzels. Find it soon at Strachan Van Til or at spreadparadise.com.
Free summer music is still rocking at Fox Point. Our Wednesday night concert series brings Trippin' Billies, the 1985, Elton Jeff and the Honky Cats, Mike and Joe, and Dick Diamond and the Dusters. Friday Night Lights brings you Gold Dust Dreams and One of These Nights on August 21st, and Mexico and El Corazon on September 4th. Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is just minutes from I-80-94, and parking is free. Visit foxpoint.org for our full schedule. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
Get ready for Wings Rock fun and prizes at Wing and Roll. Friday, September 25th from 5 to 9 at Bulldog Park Pavilion in Crown Point. Sample wings from Northwest Indiana's top chefs. Vote for the People's Choice. Enjoy live music from Backstory NWI and win incredible prizes. Tickets are $75 with tables of 8 for $575. Every dollar helps support Mental Health America of Northwest Indiana. Get your tickets now at mha.rallyyup.com/WR2026.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors bring the highest standard of electrical work to Lake County homes, schools, and businesses. From everyday fixes to once-in-a-lifetime builds, we don't just get the job done, we get it done right and up to the highest safety standards. When you need electrical work, hire the professionals who power Indiana. Powering Indiana, Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our community.
Nonsense in your life. Now there's just one plan, one price, $30.
Back. It is That's What They Said on WJOB. I am Michelle Quinn, your host. We've got Adriana, our producer, my pal Stace here as my co-host, and pal. And then over here at the very, very end is our guest, Kelly Peck from Hope Alliance of Northwest Indiana. But we're going to go ahead and grab our calls first. So, Kelly, join the madness here. So, we'll go ahead and take a few calls and then we'll go ahead with our interview. So, I don't know. Go ahead, Lee. I call upon you, Adriana, to bring in the callers that.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hello.
All right, no problem. Call back. It was quite a while that we did not take calls, so that's okay. We're just gonna keep going down the list. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Your voice sounds better.
How are you all doing this?
Ooh.
Well, it's going and coming. So.
Yeah. Oh, Ron, that sounds bad. Yikes.
That sounds bad.
Yeah. Well, okay. It's getting better. You know, sometimes cold is very hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
With me, it is. You know, it comes back, and so we're working on it. But let me just say, first of all, before I get into the so-called negatives of NIPSCO, I want to all the people who actually came forward, federal people, Frank Mrvan, and of course, the governor of Indiana came to Gary, and I question one person didn't come, and Mike know who that person is. Trucker Mike know who that person is.
Okay.
That person is Donald Trump. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now Donald Trump came.
I thought he was going to say Todd Young.
You know, Donald Trump is bringing U.S. Steel in. You know. He's got some interest in that. You know that, don't you? Maybe you don't know that.
Right. He owns part of Nippon now.
Okay.
Or the government. Okay. The government owns that part. But anyway.
I'm saying, usually when everything was this huge, this was major here in Indiana. It was major. I've known him to go to every time they have something across the country, his show. And people were saying on the radio station, they'll say, well, he can't come in there. You know, the president, all this traffic. The president don't deal in no traffic. He flies into the airport. They have Marine One to bring him and drop him right there and things. So it wasn't no traffic there. There's no excuse for that. My understanding that was a conversation that was between he and Mayor Melton. He did call after he was pressured, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know, Donald Trump right now. I'm hearing of the contributions coming. Millions of dollars wake up in Indiana and it goes to sleep in suburbia. I'm just telling you. Mm-hmm. I know that to be a fact. And some of them look like me. You know, they don't hear, but they make millions of dollars in Gary, Indiana. So I don't want nobody to say, well, Matlock, you don't say nothing about his song. Oh, I do. It's wrong for them to do that. So I'm just saying, I have yet to hear of U.S. Steel making a contribution. They could make $1 million. Don't tell me, because Donald Trump has made $4 billion since he's been there in his own business. He got running from the White House.
Indeed.
So, I mean, you know that, Michelle.
Indeed.
Yeah, and so I'm alarmed by that. I'm alarmed that here is Hard Rock give $100,000. Well, we had a guy from Gary, a basketball player, Glenn Robinson. He gave $100,000.
Right.
I'm sure that Rock could get more. So I'm just simply saying that. And I'm going to be attending the city council meeting tonight because I want to talk about that. All $1 million wake up in Gary. I'm gonna call them out. And some of them look like me. You know.
Yeah.
They make money in Gary, but again, something like this, I haven't heard from them.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to leave to go out of town because I couldn't stay here and I couldn't wait.
Right.
And when I got back and I heard the news meeting was out right now, I was saying that nothing has been done in Gary.
Mm-hmm.
I said, my God. So what I did, I called a councilman, and I won't call his name because I think he said, Matlock, you're right. I said, I talked to NIPSCO some time ago because I've been fighting NIPSCO for years of utility, the way they charging people. I have. And I always used to tell my good friend Burley, your husband did more in terms of getting African Americans working for NIPSCO. Mm-hmm. I want to thank him very much.
Sure.
He's a guy. He stood up and you usually at that time when we was calling condemning, well, Mike is not doing. Mike was doing a lot of good things. So we appreciate that. Mm-hmm. But right now, NIPSCO, because of the pressure came on, they broke off Glen Ryan. That's a subdivision, Miller. That's my old area. I have property there. I went through there, and I took this councilman riding through me. He said, oh, man, they ain't even touched it. This was 5 days after. They haven't even touched it. And so, actually, yes, there's some of the black people in that community that hollered, there must be racism. Why haven't I been in other communities with it? I didn't say that. I'm just listening to them,
Right.
And I think what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing people coming to Gary with much love. My understanding, there was a Tree of Life last night. The fraternities came, and they must have had, and they're going to be dealing with this. I'm telling you, and some of them, I know, I don't like what they hear, but it's the truth, Mm-hmm. And so right now, I guess NIPSCO had a thing like saying that, well, in I guess by tomorrow, everybody will be on,
Yeah.
And it's because of some pressure that's being put on them.
Okay.
Again, so like I said, I will conclude by saying this. I will give you a full report next Tuesday, how it came out and what came on. But trimming those trees, and I heard Jed say early on, I talked to NIPSCO about a year ago because in my property there's a lot of tree limbs overhanging the electricity.
Right.
So what they would do, when I came to Gary, they say, we want to get in your backyard. We want to go. Oh, of course, yeah. But they're protecting them lines. That's what they're doing.
Right.
And because it's going to be, they have not done that in years. And so, like I say, so we have to blame NIPSCO. Yes, I hear people say, well, NIPSCO did all they could do. Well, I understand that. That's one reason. But we had 8 or 10 companies from as far as Florida coming here. Yeah. I mean, what I did, Michelle, I had when they came into my backyard on the limbs here after I got back in town. I told them, what do you guys like for lunch or whatever, Mm-hmm. They said, what do you mean? You gonna buy? I have a little Matlock Entertainment Center in the backyard, so I entertain and stuff like that.
Okay.
I went and bought them shit. I bought them all kinds of stuff, and there was so much food. I thank them so much for coming. They was from Florida, though. It was good.
Yeah.
And so they said, man, you all got a mess here. I said, well, I'm just glad that you all come here to help take care of this situation right now.
Indeed.
All
right. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
we gotta run the call.
Move
so
along.
Sorry.
Thank you. I hope you feel better because your voice started getting, and warmed up and everything. Thank you, Ron, as always. So
Good
who else
morning.
we got?
You're on the air.
Yeah, hi. A couple of facts, if I can interject them here.
Sure.
You're talking about the reason that there's newer infrastructure south of 8094 than north of 8094. Well, for about 6 decades now, the populations north of 8094 in these towns has been falling.
Sure.
And the population south of 8094 have been growing.
Right.
So with new subdivisions, more people coming in, you need newer infrastructure to be installed.
Sure.
That's point number one. And the other thing is, I can't believe you guys seriously think the New York Times is an unbiased source of news. Everybody, come on, don't tell me you're that naive. The other thing, too, I got to wonder, all this, hand-wringing and everything going on as far as the people in these north county cities being discriminated against by NIPSCO. I wonder how many people at your radio station live north of 8094. I'd be curious about that.
Is that all?
I think.
Any answer?
I'm asking you if that's all. I
I
live close
do
to
live north of
8094. I can tell you that.
Yeah. What's that?
I said I live close to 8094.
You live close to it. Well, I live north of it. Some of us never left the hood, but the thing is, to sit out in the south part of the county and then point fingers at people and at you got to know what's going on here before you start pointing fingers at everybody for racism. There's just as many people of color living south of 8094 as north of 8094. And but again, every time there's an event, what do? We got to drag up racism and this and that and everything else to stir up the pot, because God forbid people in this area start getting along with each other. Now, somebody called up earlier talking about how during this event, people from all different kinds of backgrounds are getting together and helping each other. That's what we need to encourage. We don't need to be sitting around navel-gazing at what color this one is or that one is. Let's all just try to get along with each other. And NIPSCO's guilty of a lot of things, but racism, give me a break,
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
so caller.
much. We're going to keep going down the line.
Yeah, I did we talk? Have any of us said that it was racism? I haven't heard us say that it was racism.
I mean, Jed brought it up.
Okay, but still, he wasn't talking about it.
I feel like there wasn't much discussion beyond.
Yeah, but
the
we
idea.
weren't. Yeah, I don't think that. Okay. Anyway, go ahead. Who else is on?
Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
Jed talked about NISA.
Right.
And yet Jed has had every community leader on this station since NISA disbanded.
Uh-huh.
And he's never asked him the question, are we ready for the next storm?
Interesting.
So it's about holding community, I'm not going to say leaders, managers on their fat salaries and fat asses responsible.
Indeed.
Rick Rifa, do we need another festival, or were you ready for an emergency? Dave Nellens, you've been on that council since you lost your acting role on Petticoat Junction. Yet nobody asked him the questions, are we ready? What have you planned for? Number 2, Matlock, quit using the woke phrase, people that look like me. You're black, I'm white. It's not a big deal, dude. Number 3, Michelle, as a reporter, I would be interested in how the NIPSCO bills in Gary are being paid each month, each quarter, each year. Are they behind? Are they delinquent? Are they not getting paid at all, as opposed to other communities?
That is a good
Nobody's coming to save you. But nobody's brought that up, Michelle. If NIPSCO turned over their utility bills in Gary, have they been being paid? These people that are complaining now, I have no power. I get it. It's rough. Have you paid your bill the entire time on an orderly basis? Last, for a parent, wherever you are, Briar Ridge, Without Power, Highland without power, Gary without power. As an adult, this is a great teaching lesson for your children. Okay, we don't have power. What can we do?
Mm-hmm.
Have we got a bottle of water to go outside and take a bottled water shower? Okay, we don't have a microwave. What do we do for food? It's a great teaching lesson.
Sure.
Use it that way.
Sure.
There we go.
All right.
Cool.
Hey, get back to me with those Gary NIPSCO numbers.
Well, okay. Are you talking about the city at large, or are you talking about individual
I was
people?
gonna say we gotta get through.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Let's see here. Morning caller, you're on the air.
Hey, regarding the comments of racism, yeah, that would be Jed, Matlock, Mayor Eddie Haskell, the Gary Chief of Police, and Mike Suggs. They all said it was racism. Just check it up. They all said it was racism, why no one came and helped. But I'm wondering, are the street signs in Gary not powered years prior to this because of racism? Or is it because Gary didn't pay their NIPSCO bill, and NIPSCO said, we've had enough, Gary. We cannot carry you any longer. Enough. You'll have to do without electricity. So get the duct tape out and start putting stop signs up on the lights. Because that's what they did, right, Michelle?
That's not how that went.
That's literally what they did, isn't it?
They took out
okay, they didn't pay the NIPSCO bill. They had no power. And I know on Fifth Avenue, all I got to do is drive down it. The lights don't work years prior to the storm. And there's stop signs fastened to the poles. Is that not correct? Yes or no?
That is not how that went. That it wasn't because they
are the stop signs fastened to the poles? The answer is yes. Right?
On Fifth?
Right? Anywhere in Gary.
They took out
I recall these conversations.
Mac, are you going to let me talk or not?
Okay, go ahead. Just don't hang up on me.
We'll let her talk. Go ahead.
They took the lights out on Broadway because there was a lack of traffic, because I remember doing this story. And so they eliminated not all of the stoplights, but there were, I don't know if there were like half of them that they eliminated, but it had nothing to do with being able to pay the NIPSCO bill. There was a traffic study that they did. So I don't know what you're talking about, whether they can pay the bills or not.
I would argue, too, two people have brought up now that people don't pay their bills, but NIPSCO cuts you off if you don't pay your bills. So that is kind of a self-correcting system. You can't blame a city. Right. If you're not paying your bill, you don't have power, you're not going to get restored. Like, that's not a system issue. That's not anything but individuals being dealt with as individuals.
No, we're talking about the city of Gary, not individuals. There are stoplights all over the town on multiple dozens, scores of streets that have no power. This isn't, we're not making this up.
Okay, and Michelle, correct me, didn't you just say that those were decommissioned because there wasn't a need for stoplights at those intersections, which is why, and then I'm assuming it costs money to take the stoplights out, which is probably why that's still over the streets.
Yeah.
Always a reason for stupidity, right? So what is the NISA board? I remember when Frank Mervan, Jimmy Diedlow, Andy Quinnell, Matt Reardon, and all the other cheerleaders were for this big NISA thing they were going to build out at Gary Airport. And they bought the space, and they remodeled it, and we're going to have all this communications and equipment. Have we ever heard from them at all? And that money just went poof right out the window. I'll tell you this, though. I know what's going to happen with the aftermath and the review of this storm.
Okay.
Not a single thing. Not a single thing will change. Because the last people in the area to get power on the last one was that run of people on Ridge Road by White Oak and the monastery there, south of there. Mm-hmm. And it happens every single time. They got trees 8,000 feet high, telephone wires laying there, and power lines and everything else. Isn't going to change. Allen's never going to win this lawsuit. You got to give some kind of grace here by going, we had a storm we've never seen before. It's a natural disaster. But if you think there's going to be any changes in anything here at all, anywhere, you are on another planet.
Well, I don't
Tell me
think-
about this, Michelle. I'm going to hang up.
We
Well,
gotta
no,
hang
go
up
ahead.
because we gotta keep
Yeah,
going
go.
through the calls. So we got two more. The other two that are on here, they've already talked. So we just got two more. Then we're done.
All right, cool.
With the calls.
All
Good
right.
morning.
Well, I think we all know how good government manages money. And with all this money getting donated, wouldn't you guys like to see some this get so maybe at least take a portion of it so it don't get stolen or wasted, and give some to the residents? I mean, let's take this Kyle Irving guy. He's donating $100,000. You could put almost $1,500 bucks in every resident's Gary's pocket. You know.
Okay.
I mean, I think some of this money should be going directly to the residents. Let them do what they want with it, and instead of it getting wasted, because you know how government works. It's going to get blown, and you're going to get no return on your investment. So give it to the people and put some money in their pockets.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
I would agree. Cool.
All right. One more, and then we're done with
All right.
the calls, so then we can get to the interview. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hey, would you like to talk to a Gary resident?
Sure.
Yeah. How you doing?
Let's talk. Hi, Dave.
Everyone has such brilliant ideas because they don't live there, right? And yes, there are a lot of street lights out, right?
Right.
Because they're tied into the power lines that they could not re-energize because it's not safe yet.
Right.
Where I live, they're restoring one house at a time. My neighbor has electricity. I still do not.
Oh, geez.
So, yeah, it's, in 3 hours, it'll be exactly 2 weeks. So I know exactly where I was at when the storm hit. So,
yeah.
I'm just listening to and watching these conferences and everything else, and I'm tired of the victim mentality. And if you think like a victim, you'll always be a victim.
Sure.
And where my heart goes out is to the seniors that really that are having a difficult time. And that's why I'm helping all of my senior neighbors as much as I possibly can.
Oh, yeah.
Can I help every senior in the city of Gary? No. Would I like to? Sure.
Absolutely.
But we just have to keep moving on. And a big part of the issue is it's old infrastructure. I mean, I see it where there's a situation. I'm going to make this really brief.
Yep.
There's a dozen houses out because there's a main power line in like a levee, in like a ditch.
New.
And there's zero access to it. Right? It's like an easement. So they're tearing down people's fences.
Yeah.
They're taking skid steers and bobcats, digging paths to where they need to go.
Okay.
These crews that came in here are doing an absolutely brilliant job. The tree trimmers, all these different crews, they're very, very respectful. They gave me a couple of minutes to talk to me and gave me a plan. I'm hoping later today my house will have power.
I hope so too.
We hope so too.
Yeah, and it's what we're looking at is us, not just what you hear on the news, the 84% of African Americans in the city. That's not all that's there, right?
Right.
Everyone has been affected by this. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, seniors, non-seniors, everyone. And I really would prefer, instead of focusing just on that, is it's the city of Gary and its residents, period, full stop. And that's what I would like. And I just can't applaud the workers that have come. These people, I talk to them, they have families, they have children that they're not going to see for a month.
Yeah.
So I applaud them for coming here and thank them profusely. So,
all right.
Yeah. So it's that's how things really are in Gary, Indiana, and that's my take on it. Being a resident and subjected the same as everybody else to this hopefully once in a lifetime storm. But we're now in the we're in tornado alley now, all the way up here at the tip of Lake Michigan. So it's hopefully not a new normal.
Hey, so real quick question: how I know this is better directed to Jen, but how did Haven House fare in the storm?
We're still struggling from the storm a month ago.
Right.
We're the hardest. We're having a difficult time, and I just want to thank everyone that has contributed and still contributing. We're having an extremely difficult time finding a contractor that would be willing to come in because of this secondary once-in-a-lifetime storm.
Right.
So we've taken all of the residents and we have moved them to our transitional house, which eventually will be our new Haven House, our new shelter. And it's trying, extremely trying on our clients and their children, and especially our staff that are just pulling double hours, and it's a big deal. So, once we got to get the roof sealed at the old shelter,
right,
and move forward. And I'm very proud of our new president and the entire board and staff. They have just pulled double duty to make sure this happens. And again, I just want to thank everyone for their thoughts and prayers and contributions to, they literally, the callers that call into this show, and they kept our doors open.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful, extremely grateful. Like Paul Goddard, he really started the ball rolling, and his following just was instrumental on Haven House keeping their doors open. So thank you, Paul Goddard, and everyone who contributed, and WJOB and everyone else. So that's
Thank
it.
you so much.
I appreciate it.
Cool. Talk soon,
All right.
man. All right.
Phone line's done.
Okay, phone line is done. I think we need to take a break now.
Do a quick break, and then we'll
we will talk to Kelly. Kelly has been very patient. So, all right, you are listening to WJOB 12:30 a.m. 104.7 FM, the voice of the region.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
The best just got better. Tech Credit Union is proud to celebrate being recognized with Best of the Region, Best CEO, and Best Banker. To celebrate, we're offering 3 special CD offers with rates up to 4.5% APY for a limited time. Visit techcu.org or stop by your nearest Tech Credit Union branch or call 800-276-8324 to learn more. Tech Credit Union, the better option for people and communities we serve. Member NCUA. Minimum deposit required. Offer subject to change. Visit techcu.org for complete details.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
We've had some cars run into the barrier wall, not paying attention. They were on their phone.
Texting, scrolling. Yeah, it's bad.
Most often they be on their phones or they're just not paying attention. They can cause a crash.
We could stand on the side of the road and watch every other vehicle looking down into their lap as they're passing us. You know what they're looking at. They're looking at their phone.
Phones. On their phones, not paying attention. Phones.
I'm not a mathematician, but I say probably about 80% of the people who pass me are on their telephones.
No call, text, or video is worth putting yourself or a road worker in danger. When driving through construction, LIUNA members ask you for your sake and ours.
Slow down, stay off your phone, please. Be aware of where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
Stay off your phones and buckle up and drive safe.
We're not asking for much.
This is Brian Short, business manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
All right, welcome back. It is the last leg of That's What They Said with your host, Michelle Quinn, and our producer, Adriana Alvarez. And Stacey Tracy had to leave for work, so she sends her regards, and, you know, she has fun, and maybe she'll be back next week, maybe she won't. We'll figure it out. But anyway, we are here with Kelly Peck of Hope Alliance of Northwest Indiana to tell us about an event she's got going. So, Kelly, how are you?
I'm great. How about you?
Doing all right. So I've seen Kelly, Hope Alliance. You've probably seen their vans, and if you haven't, I don't know where you've been because they are everywhere. It is. I saw them at North Township last week. I've seen them at countless events that I've covered, you know, with law enforcement and stuff, and they're just, you know, they're just everywhere. So, Kelly, tell us, what does Hope Alliance do? What do you guys do?
Hope Alliance is a harm reduction organization.
If you can get up to the mic.
A wellness organization. You know, we deal with harm reduction. I founded Hope Alliance in March of 2025. Based on personal experience, the entire organization is pretty personal to me, what we go out there doing, working with people. Our event coming up is the overdose awareness event. And again, like I say, pretty personal. I myself am in recovery, 29 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 29 years. Prior to that 29 years, it was everything that I do and how I formed Hope Alliance is based on my life from 30 years ago and what I believed that I needed, what I didn't have, and what I wish I had. So we go out every day. We meet people exactly where they're at. You know, thanks for seeing us all over.
Right. No, it's crazy. You're all over. I mean, I saw you guys even when I was sent out to Griffith when they were doing that day. They were doing their walkout, and I'm like, what are you guys doing here? And so anyway, but go ahead.
That day we happened to be touring the school, I believe.
Right.
It was, and she told us it was going to be the day of the walkout. Did we want to come? We were like, sure.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Yeah. So we are, you know, we are out in the community trying to just meet people where they're at. So basically, a lot of people don't have the ways or the means to get. We bring services directly to them instead of having people, you know, have to come get it. So. Meeting people exactly where they're at, you know, bringing services, not waiting for them to come to us. We go directly to them. So.
Okay. And how do you find the places to go? Where do you, how do you find those places?
We just get out there every day. Basically, everybody on my team has lived experience, so we kind of know where to go.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And certain areas, you know, so we typically just focus on underserved communities, you know, communities that need our help, that struggle with barriers, transportation, you know, lots of things. So we kind of know where to go based on our lived experience.
Okay. And so then when you are out there, what are the types of things, what do you give people? Is it basically what they need, or, you know, talk about that?
Yeah, well, one of our things that we believe in is each person is an individual. You know, we use person-centered. Our services is based just on that person. So when we're dealing with the individual to see what they need. But what we typically carry on our trucks is personal hygiene. Mm-hmm. That's like a necessity. We try to always have food and water, like a snack, not food, snacks and water. And then as we're talking to somebody, we find out what they need. But as I told you, we all have lived experience with substance use. So Narcan is something we try to get in the hands of everybody. Narcan saves lives. It's a medication that reverses a drug overdose. So we put that into everybody's hands.
Wow.
Yep. So hopefully you never have to use it. That's my famous line. Hopefully you never have to use it, but it's better to have it than not to. So Narcan, we're giving Narcan, and then safe use supplies. So we do HIV, Hep C is still high in the area.
Okay.
I remember seeing it on the CD. I lived in Illinois, so I grew up in Chicago.
Okay.
Yep, grew up in Chicago. 2003 moved to Indiana, and I remember seeing the HIV, I think it was on the CDC website. I was like, wow, Indiana's on there, but it is still high, and I think people need to know. So we educate people, telling them, and then we have kits that can help prevent the spread of that. So we give out a lot of those as well.
Okay. Let's see. So the event, the overdose awareness. So talk about what that's going to be.
So this will be Hope Alliance's first event. It's, we've called it's Overdose Awareness Event, from survival to stability, because that's when we're out there every day. We're dealing with people. The things that Hope Alliance sees and that we deal with out there, I think if everybody can go on an outreach with us, if everybody can do, what we do for a day, I think it would change your perspective on life, just on the needs that we think we have, or the wants that we have, and when we see how people are really living, and how people come together too. So I want to say that out there, even doing this storm and the last one, seeing the community come together is wonderful. Our community partners really do, everybody comes together in a time of need. But if we can just go out there and see what we deal with, there's hungry people. There's people that are hungry. There's people that are homeless. There's people that are living in cars. There's people that it's the things that we go home every day. We sit on our couch or we watch our TV.
Right.
We open up our refrigerator. We brush our teeth. We get in the shower. Things we take for granted that people don't have, out there. And I think people think it's not happening, and it's happening right in our backyard. And Hope Alliance is out there every day, talking and helping, trying to help people to see what they need, meet them exactly where they're at and see what they need. We're not miracle workers. We just do what we can do.
Have you seen an increase? Now, how long has Hope Alliance, forgive me, how long has Hope Alliance been in existence?
March 2025.
Okay. So it's then maybe this isn't quite the question to ask, because since it's only been a year, then how do you gauge if there's been an increase? Because I'm thinking, COVID is kind of like, 0.0 for everybody, because that seems to be the time that our brain is broken. So I wonder how much the population has changed. Have you seen an increase even year over year, or just the year that you've been, do you start seeing more people that you need to help, or are you seeing a population increase, or?
I think it's just always been there, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
So Hope Alliance has been in existence for 1 year, but I myself, Kelly, have been doing this volunteer work for 29 years.
Okay.
Since I, stopped using, like we have a saying where I go, my pathway, I believe that everybody has their own pathway. My pathway is complete abstinence, and I'm in a 12-step program. So we keep what we have by giving it away.
Right.
So we have what we call a 12-step, and we're out there 12-stepping and doing everything we can. So I don't think I've seen an increase in what's maybe just in the overdose deaths and people dying because of the drug supply.
Yeah.
But I haven't really seen it. I think people have always been in the situations they're in.
Okay.
But I think I see what I have found a little bit, that I've noticed is the increase of families that are out there that have nowhere to go. That are
okay.
A lot of families. Out there.
Yeah. So what can we expect at the event?
We can expect some wonderful. What we'd like to see happen at the event is to break the silence, break the stigma.
Okay.
People to talk about it. This is happening. Harm reduction is not. Giving somebody like saying, hey, it's okay to use, go use. Harm reduction is an evidence-based program. It's like a public health strategy. And we're not, like I said, saying go ahead and use. We're addressing reality that people will use.
Right.
So we want to save their life.
Sure.
A dead person can never recover. So everybody, like I said, on the team has a pathway of recovery. So we're just trying to meet somebody where they're at, give them they're the expert of their own life, whatever they decide that they want. We're not trying to push something on them, but we have a lot of success in what we do. And the overdose awareness event is going to hopefully break stigma, break the silence, and educate people. So that's our big hope, is to educate. We have 2 wonderful speakers that will be speaking.
Who do you have?
So the first speaker will be Damian Smith. He's 15 years old. He's going to share his experience with overdose and how it's affected his life. And I won't tell you that. And the next speaker her name is Mary, and she's going, I think this will be her first time speaking on the loss of her daughter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
A 15-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I know that probably it shouldn't surprise us, but, hearing that 15, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting story to hear.
Yeah, I think you don't want to miss it. Damien is, like I say, this affects everybody, and I think it's time we talk about it.
Sure.
We talk about it, so I wanted to get it from all perspectives, but I really wanted to get it from the youth perspective because this affects the youth, and I'm not like a youth worker.
Sure.
I do go to the schools. I do Narcan trainings in schools.
Sure.
I have some high schools that call me back every year. This will be my third year going back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not my specialty with the youth, but I think they connect with me because because I'm real. If you're real and you're authentic, people know that.
Right.
I don't try to tell you things I don't know. Just try to tell you exactly my experience,
right,
strength, and hope. That's it. So we don't preach at people, so I think that people need to hear that. And our youth are so, our youth is the future.
Yeah.
So I think we need to hear more from our youth. And I go to a lot of, we're always trying to, how can we reach the youth? How can we reach the youth? And Hope Alliance, we believe in going directly to the source.
Sure.
So we went right to the youth to do a youth advisory so they can advise us on how we can reach them. So instead of sitting at a table and all of us with a pen wondering, what can we do next? We'll just ask the youth, what can we do?
All right. One more thing, and then it looks like our time is coming to an end. But what do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions about, harm reduction? We know what harm reduction is, but, out there, what do you, when you're going out and, you're helping educate, what do you think is the biggest misconception that people get wrong about addiction or overdose or...
That it's a choice. So addiction, at one time in my life, I decided that I wanted to go have a drink or, go out with my friends, go to the bar. And I did make that choice. But along the way, I didn't make the choice because I had dreams. I had goals. I was going to be a nurse. I went to nursing school. I graduated nursing school.
Right.
So never in my life was my choice that I'm going to give up all this, have 2 children, leave them, and go live homeless. That was not the choice. So I don't think people realize that it is a medical condition. It's not a choice. Somewhere along the way, something happens. I believe it's chemical, something in the brain.
Sure.
It happens, and then it does not become a choice. So we don't understand. I feel like I've lived 2 lives. I sometimes have to think about, I was homeless. I had left 2 children that I loved. Who does? I think how did that happen? So big shout out to the health department, Lake County Health Department, and Overdose Lifeline. Overdose Lifeline has an Narcan training, and there's this one slide that I love that says what started as a choice, is no longer a choice,
Right.
So, it goes on about it's hardwired, all these things, but it's true, so people did not decide I want to be homeless and live on the street. I want to do the things that I have to do to get one more, that's where I think is the biggest misconception.
Okay.
And then we have, there's a lot of different things. Hope Alliance does not take a stance on it, but personally, my addiction had, there was a time when, like I say, CDC and the SAMHSA has a great definition. It's like an impairment. Even though there's negative consequences happening, I continue to do it.
Sure.
Just to give an example, I have never done fentanyl. Fentanyl,
okay,
like right out there, it's killing people. I never did fentanyl, but when my drug, the supply, when I was there, they would say it was poisoning in it, rat poisoning, whatever. That didn't stop me from going back to get it. I kept going. One time we were all together going to use, and somebody said, such and such is in the hospital, they overdosed, and literally it was like, where'd they get it? Where'd that? And that's where people head to. So when they say it's an impairment or that, despite the negative consequences or what's happening, so you just become addicted to it. And I think today I just want to say fentanyl is actually a drug of choice today.
Yeah.
It really is. People, it's their drug of choice. I have people on my team that was their drug of choice.
Wow.
So
that's some scary stuff. So anyway, Jed has told me that we need to wrap it up. So tell us, day of event, name the event again, where it's going to be, go ahead so we know where to go.
The event is our overdose awareness event. It's from survival to stability. It's August 30th at Central Park in 12 to 4. And our first speaker will go on at 1. Our second speaker will go on at, I believe, 2. And then we're giving some community awards. We have wonderful vendors.
Okay.
A lot of vendors will be there with resources for the community. So
Okay.
these events are put on for the community, for the people. So please show up, get some resources. Griffith tends to have a lot of support, community comes
Yep.
together, but I don't see a lot of vendor fairs there,
Sure.
resources. So hopefully they
Sure.
come out and find out what's happening in our community besides a good band and, get socialized, which I love that. But this will be vendors, resources, so, that's what we'll have.
All right,
Oh,
cool.
we're having a memorial garden. So if you have lost somebody that you love to overdose, if you can please come out, put out a purple flag for them. We're going to have the memorial garden. And it would just be a really nice way because we don't want to forget, their stories have ended way too soon. And what we try to go out every day and do is make sure that that's not happening. So, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's do something.
All right, very cool. All right, we have come to the end of our time. As always, I appreciate y'all listening, and whether you like me or not, that's cool. Whatever.
We love you.
So we love you, everybody. So anyway, I am Michelle Quinn. This is That's What They Said. This is Adriana Alvarez, our Wonderkin producer, and we will see you next Tuesday.
I'm Pastor Eric Boone, pastor of the Tree of Life Church here in the great city of Gary, Indiana. The Notre Dame